Good morning, KU. I'm Jill Bainbridge.
And I'm Sam Harms.
We hope your Friday's off to a great start. It is a beautiful day outside.
It really is.
So yesterday, we know you're probably all aware of this, but we're having a little bit of election controversy this year, aren't we?
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride.
Between the three coalitions, there's, I don't know if I'd call it scandal, excitement. It definitely makes for an interesting election. So for those of you that haven't heard, yesterday the election results were suspended. It was 3:30. We were down in the KUJH studio ready to go live to the winner and to the ones who did not win and interview them and ask them about their thoughts. And we get this email and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, election suspended.
Oh my gosh.
Like, okay, time to regroup, time to find a new plan, got to figure out what we're going to do.
Wow.
So what we ended up doing was, I hope you guys were able to tune in, but we were able to have a member from each coalition on. We were able to have Marcus Tetweiler on. So turned out to be a pretty good show, but still kind of disappointed that the results didn't come out.
Yeah, it makes the process even longer than it already has been.
Yeah, it's very drawn out, and it actually could be drawn out for up to another week.
Oh my gosh.
I was reading in the UDK this morning that since the election results were suspended, it has to go to the University Judicial Board.
Wow.
And it has to do that because I guess two of the members on the appeals board, they had a conflict of interest. And they haven't released what the conflict of interest was. I don't know if they were closely related to a coalition. I don't know if they were involved somehow. There's no speculation, but so they have to figure that out. So they decided not to touch it. They're sending it to the university, and the university will decide, I believe, by next Friday.
Okay.
So you guys might have to wait quite a little bit longer to find out who won. It's really drawing out the suspense.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, I hope that they are able to, make an informed decision that helps everybody out.
Yeah. I do think it's unfortunate because I know they worked a lot on the election reform and trying to make everything a lot cleaner this year. And to have this kind of controversy come up is disappointing, but I think it does show that since, KU is taking such drastic measures to work through it and to get to the bottom of it, I think it sets a precedent for the coming years that, any accusations are taken seriously and they're really trying to get to the bottom of it. So I know all of the coalitions have spoken out supporting the appeals decision and their decision to send it over to the university. So I think it's cool.
It's going to be a long week for sure.
Absolutely. More to come on that. This week is actually the Kansas City Film Festival.
It is.
And I know that you know that, and I know that I know that. We both had a chance to interview someone directly involved, which was so exciting. Who did you get to interview?
I interviewed Rob Benedict, who is an actor professionally, and then decided that he just wanted to go out and write his own movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Who'd you interview?
I got to talk to Barry Opper. He is the producer of a documentary called Slingshot that's going to be showing in Kansas City at the Plaza, I believe, on Saturday, so tomorrow. We had a couple technical difficulties, so we won't get to show it to you, but basically his movie, it's a documentary about, what's his name, Dean Kamen. He is actually the inventor of the Segway, the little, Segway thing. But he also invented this thing called the Slingshot, and I watched a little bit of it, and what it is a way to make clean water all around the world. Okay. So it's this really, technical kind of thing that purifies this water for people like in Africa or really anywhere.
Wow.
So
that's really impressive.
He's a really cool guy. But we actually have footage of your interview, right?
Yes, we do. I got to talk to Rob, like I said, about his movie called The Sidekick. Just to give a little background on his movie, the movie is about a former sidekick to a superhero. He gets too old, so he gets fired.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and since he's been a sidekick his whole life, he doesn't know what else to do. So basically, the movie is just about him and his struggle of being, a former sidekick, and what does he do?
Sounds exciting. Well, let's take a look.
What was the inspiration behind this movie? Did you read a lot of comic books when you were a kid? Have you always wanted to be a superhero?
Yeah, I read a lot of comics. I dressed up as superheroes quite a bit, and I found myself always sort of drawn to the sidekick. Like I was into Robin, And it was partially that, but also, I kind of wrote it as an allegory for something else, which is that sort of the idea that here's this sidekick. He has no superpowers of his own, and he gets fired because he's getting too old and he doesn't do very well anymore, and he's got no real special skills. He can't do anything except say, like, here, catch, or get in. And so how does he find his purpose in life? So it kind of came out of sort of a midlife crisis that I was going through, where it was like, if I wasn't acting, what else would I do? And I don't know what else I would do besides this, because I'm not skilled in anything else. And so it kind of came out of that.
Okay.
Max, throw me the lasso!
All right, shifty crack and blow. Hold the... Oh, shit, I leave in the car. Ow! There's a nail.
Sidekicks are a dying breed. Okay, we have no relevance in this digital age.
What's going on with the outfit, the cape and everything?
I'm a sidekick.
Oh.
How would you rate your performance as of late, Max?
I mean, pretty great.
Sorry, man, I'm on the clock.
What do you hope that your response is? I mean, obviously you're looking for a lot of laughs, but is there anything else that you really want to see come out of the viewing that you have?
Like I said, there are a lot of sort of real moments in it too. You kind of feel for this guy by the end of the movie and what he's going through. And so, I want people to be able to relate to it. And I found that so far people really do. I mean, everyone can relate to the idea of, like, losing a job, very common thing that people have to go through, and, trying to identify with what your purpose is. And, he meets a girl, so there's that. So there's some great laughs, but then there's a journey that he goes on. And so, I want them to feel that as well. But it's fun. There's a great energy at film festivals where, all the independent filmmakers and the audience of people that want to see new movies and want to see independent film. So it's a great energy of creativity and sharing. And then meeting the other filmmakers. It's like there's a brotherhood. It's not competitive. Everyone's very curious about everyone else and what they've got going on. So it's a really cool thing. It's catching on. I mean, there's so many film festivals. There's so many avenues for independent filmmakers to get their movies shown. So it's a very cool thing.
So I do have one last question for you. I know that you grew up in Columbia, Missouri.
Did.
So you are currently interviewing with a Jayhawk.
I know.
Is there some tension between us, or?
I know. I just want you to know I'm cool with it. I did grow up, in Columbia. Was a Tigers fan. I would say I probably still am, just because it's my hometown.
Yeah.
But I left and went to college at Northwestern, and then I've lived in LA now for like 20 years. So I'm cool with this.
Okay, good.
I think we gotta come together.
All right, perfect.
We're all Midwest.
Yeah, that's true.
It's funny because outside of Missouri, Kansas, like, people don't know how strong that rivalry is.
Yeah.
And you try to explain to people, and they're like, "That doesn't make sense. Why?"
Yeah, I know. It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for us. So Thank you so much for interviewing with us. Good luck with the showing tonight and tomorrow, and make sure that, this is just for everybody, make sure that you guys go out and watch the Sidekick. Make sure you look it up on YouTube, on the internet. The preview is hysterical. So.
Yeah. And you can find out anywhere when we have screenings. We put it on our website, which is thesidekickproject.com.
Okay.
And we're also on Facebook under the Sidekick Project.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Kaylee Taylor.
And I'm Michael O'Brien with your news update.
Former Kansas Governor Kathleen Sebelius resigned yesterday as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Her term lasted 5 years, but was marked by the troubled healthcare.gov website of the Affordable Care Act. The Obama administration has said that over 7.5 million people had signed up for the healthcare by the April 1st deadline.
President Obama is expected to nominate Sylvia Matthews Burwell to replace Sebelius as Secretary of Health and Human Services. Burwell has been the director of the Office of Management and Budget since April of 2013. That office has worked closely with managing the healthcare systems.
Hillary Clinton dodged a shoe thrown at her while giving a speech in Las Vegas. The woman who threw the shoe was ushered out by security and is now in federal custody. After the incident, Clinton joked about it, quote, "My goodness, I didn't know that solid waste management was so controversial. Thank goodness she didn't play softball like I did," end quote.
An Oregon judge ruled that flashing your headlights is free speech. The decision came after a man flashed his lights to warn an oncoming truck that a police car was nearby. The judge said that the law was applied unconstitutionally because it punished the driver for freedom of speech and expression.
7 chimpanzees escaped from the Kansas City Zoo yesterday afternoon. According to zoo authorities, the chimpanzee leaned a 5 to 6 foot log against a wall and climbed over the top. The zoo enacted its code red emergency response immediately and at no point were any patrons in danger or even aware of the escape.
A bus crash in Northern California has killed 10 people, including 5 teens. The accident occurred around 5:30 when a FedEx truck crossed a highway median. Both vehicles went up in flames, injuring another 30 people, many of which were Los Angeles area high school students traveling to Humboldt State University in Arcata.
And that's it for your Friday News Update. We'll be right back with Tim Cornell with sports.
Tim Cornell here with your sports. Sporting Kansas City saw a blow hit their defensive line when defender Ike Opera went down with a serious ankle injury in Sporting's 3-2 victory at Colorado on March 29th. Opera's surgery will take place on April 16th and will most likely be season-ending. Sporting is currently in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference in their title defending season. They play next at home against Montreal Impact on April 19th. After dropping their first 2 games of the season, the Kansas City Royals won their next 2 series against the Chicago White Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays at home, 2-1 for both. The Royals will be on the road for the next 6 days as they face the Twins for 3 games and then head to Houston to face the Astros for a 3-game series. One of the greatest sports traditions kicked off yesterday. That is the Masters. The field is littered with familiar faces, but none may be more familiar to KU fans than Gary Woodland. The former Jayhawk is attempting to win his first Masters to add to his 2 PGA Tour wins. After the first day, he was only 2 strokes behind the leader at under 2. He tees off today at 11:31 a.m. With Joel Embiid and Andrew Wiggins officially leaving for the NBA draft, the Jayhawk men's basketball team will be in reload mode. That means continuing to go after number 2 prospect Miles Turner and 3-star point guard Devontae Graham for next season. But head coach Bill Self is looking even further ahead. Yesterday, Self visited the home of the 2015 number 2 prospect Malik Newman. The 6'3" shooting guard is an explosive scorer that KU fans would love to see playing in Allen Fieldhouse in 2 years. That's all for sports. Now, let's go to Michaela for the weather. Michaela, how's it feeling out there?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. What's the weather like?
The weather is gorgeous outside today. It's about 48 degrees, but today we should expect about a high of 75 and a low of 52 later tonight.
Wow, that's quite a wide range of weather right there. 40 in the morning, 75. But that's really nice. We had a really great week. What is it looking like this weekend for the spring game tomorrow?
Yeah, this weekend's supposed to be much warmer with a high of 82 on Saturday, low 63. Although we are expecting some storms on Sunday with a high of 68 and a low of 37. So it's definitely worth taking your umbrella and a coat for.
Okay, so, sunglasses, shorts, and flip-flops Saturday, but then make sure you're ready with an umbrella on Sunday. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Be prepared for all the weather.
Oh, yeah. With Kansas, you never know what to expect. So make sure you go to the spring football game tomorrow at 1 p.m. if you're not busy with the big event or other things. That's it for us here at Good Morning KU. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.